All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about the cello today, but I want you to forget all that stuffy, old-school classical music stuff for a second. Think of this thing as one of the most epic instruments ever made, seriously. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works, kind of like we're doing a full system breakdown. I mean, really think about that for a sec. How can a wooden box with strings make you feel something? How can it sound happy or sad or just powerful? Well, that's the whole secret we're going to unlock. It all comes down to its design, how you use it, and how you bring it all to life. Okay, so first things first. Before you can master any game, you gotta know your equipment, right? So let's treat the cello like it's a brand new piece of tech. Every part has a job, and they all have to work together perfectly. Let's do a quick hardware tour. So first up is the body, and this is way more than just a wooden box. This is the sound engine. It takes the tiny, tiny vibrations from the strings, and inside this hollow space, it makes them huge. It's basically a built-in amplifier. And you see those cool-looking F-shaped holes? Those are pretty much the speaker grills. That's where all that awesome, rich sound comes pouring out. Moving on up, we've got the neck. Think of this part like your keyboard. Your left hand is going to be moving up and down this thing, pressing on the strings to change the notes. And that curly, fancy thing at the very top? That's called a scroll. To be honest, it's pretty much just there for style points, but it gives the cello that classic, unmistakable look. And now we get to maybe the most important tool in the whole setup, the bow. This is your controller, your joystick. It's made of wood and, believe it or not, actual horsehair. Now, the hair is super smooth, so you have to coat it in this sticky stuff called rosin. That grip is what lets you pull sound from the strings. And how you move this bow, fast, slow, hard, soft, that controls everything. The volume, the emotion, it's all in your controller hand. All right, hardware tour is done, but look, before you can even make a single note, you have to get your own setup right. It's kind of like getting your gaming chair and deck perfectly adjusted. If your posture is off, you're not going to be comfortable, and you're definitely not going to play your best. So here's the standard 4-point setup. It's all about being stable. You start with your feet flat on the floor. That's your base. You're not going anywhere. Then the body of the cello rests against your chest so you can literally feel the music. Your knees just gently hug the sides, not a death grip, just enough to keep it from wiggling around. And finally, the neck should be right up there by your left ear, which puts all the notes in the perfect spot to reach. Get this right, and everything else gets way, way easier. Okay, hardware, check, stance, locked in. Now it's time to actually fire up the sound engine. Let's talk about how you make this instrument sing. The cello has 4 strings, and the best way to think about them is like 4 different characters on your team. At the very top, you've got the A string. That's your hero, your main character. It sings with this bright solo voice. Then you've got the D and G strings in the middle. They're your versatile support players. And way down at the bottom is the C string. That is your tank. It's got that deep, powerful bass sound that holds everything else down. Now here is a wild trick for controlling your sound. It all depends on where you put the bow. See that little wooden thing holding the strings up? That's the bridge. If you play right next to it, you get this super bright, intense sound that can cut through anything. But if you just slide your bow up here, closer to where your fingers are, the sound gets instantly warmer, darker, much more chill. Just by moving an inch or two, you completely change the mood. So once you've got the basics down, it's time to level up. This is where you start learning the special moves, the pro techniques that really make your playing sound amazing. First up, the ultimate tool for expression, vibrato. You can think of it like an emote for your music. It's this tiny little rocking motion that you do with your finger on the string. And what it does is make the note shimmer. It gives it this warmth and emotion. This one technique is probably the biggest reason the cello sounds so much like a singing voice. Next, we have 2 opposite bowing styles. First is legato. That's when you play a whole bunch of notes smoothly, all in one long connected bow stroke. It's very fluid. And then you have staccato. It's the exact opposite. These notes are short, sharp, and separate. It gives the music this really punchy rhythmic feel. And we've got 2 more fun ones. Spiccato is where you actually let the bow bounce on the string. It creates this really light, playful, almost springy sound. And then there's pizzicato. For this one, you put the bow down completely and just pluck the string with your finger. It makes this awesome percussive pop sound. Now, playing the cello isn't always a solo mission. It's a huge team player. So once you've got your skills down, it's time to take them into multiplayer mode and see how the cello works with other instruments. In a giant orchestra, the cellos are like the ultimate all-stars.
One moment they're laying down the deep bass lines, basically the foundation for the whole orchestra. Then the next minute, they get to play these incredible, soaring melodies that are just packed with emotion. They're the perfect bridge between the super high instruments and the super low ones, kind of holding the whole team together.
And it's not just in big orchestras. In a small group, like a string quartet with just 4 people, the cello is the anchor. But what about when it's all by itself? Well, because its range is so huge, it can play notes lower than a guy's voice and as high as a violin, it's a total solo superstar. So really, everything we've talked about comes back to this one idea. People love the cello because it has a voice that just feels human. It can be incredibly powerful, but it can also be super gentle and emotional, sometimes in the same song. So if there's one thing to take away, it's this. Mastering the cello isn't just about playing the right notes. It's about learning your hardware, perfecting your stance, and using all those special moves to unlock one of the most expressive and human-sounding voices in the entire world of music. So I'll leave you with this question. We figured out that the cello basically has a voice that can say anything. If you could pick one up right now, what would you want to make it say? What story would you want to tell?